Together, we have probably just under $1 million in debt. We have about 335,000 student loans and about 136,000 in credit cards, 44,000 personal loans, and 35,000 car loans.
Okay. How old are you all?
I'm 29.
Okay. So what in the world?
Yeah.
I mean, are you both on this, or is this just one of you that's completely lost your mind? You're going to have to not care what anyone thinks, including each other, because you're not going to spend any money on anything ever for the next 3 years.
This is what I love about Dave Ramsey. He tells it like it is, tells people to their face or their ears, but, radio, what it is. You got to get out of this debt. And, they're shocked, they're jolted. In many cases, they don't know what's happened to them because he isn't your friendly radio host here. He's trying to help them out and get them out of a pickle. In this case, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Dave Ramsey, Ramsey Solutions founder, national best-selling author again and again and again. Just a great guy. Dave, good to see you.
Good to see you, my friend.
That was tough love there, and I've seen and witnessed you practice that again and again. How did the call end? I mean, is this couple committed to doing what you said they have to do?
Yeah, in her case, she was. She was, if you watch the entire clip, it's about 3 minutes or something. She was just down. That's one of the reasons I was nice to her. I was very clear, but I wasn't jumping her case.
That was a version of you being nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we're not going to listen to tell lies in a situation like that and make everything okay.
You're absolutely
right. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. I love her. I want her to win. But she was ready. She was scared. Down under all of the sophisticated rhetoric, she was scared. And so by the end of the call, they were. I think she was committed, and we'll know. We never know if her husband jumped on board and then they decided to sacrifice. But they actually had a large shovel, a good income. They were just completely out of control, and it was time to rein everything in. And it's just not fun in that situation. There's a lot of stress.
Despite your efforts in trying to get this under control in our country, the fact of the matter is Americans are once again piling up the debt in the aggregate. It's $1 trillion more than it was around the time of COVID. And I'm just wondering, between that and, this debt ceiling quagmire playing out on Capitol Hill, we're knee deep in the red stuff here. What do you see going on?
Well, it's a perfect storm. We don't have a long-term mentality anymore. Our emotional maturity has caused us to be just distracted to no end. We have the attention span in this country of a gnat. I mean, we can't look out 5 years, much less we can't look out 5 years at all, much less even 5 minutes without being distracted and hitting the scan button or doom scrolling or something on our phones. And so, to win financially, you have to back up and have a vision for the long term. And when you don't, you borrow yourself into oblivion, and that's what Americans are doing. Again, car debt is at an all-time high right now. Credit card debt's at an all-time high. It looks like my career is going to be intact as long as I want it to be, helping people get out of this mess because they continue to make the messes like crazy. But this lack of emotional maturity, the children do what feels good, adults devise a plan and follow it, combined with we're the most marketed to society in the history of the human race. And so we're sold, and then we act like children in adult bodies and just buy, and then think there's no end to it. But there is an end to it. As that young couple discovered on our show, they were really hurting.
I know you abhor credit cards and people who use them, that it's dangerous. I think you like the concept of using cash. At least people can see how much they're spending. But like I've always told you, Dave, I picture you walking into a restaurant with a bag of money and it's like a Tony Soprano thing, and you're scaring people in there. I mean, what is your advice to people who just, they have the money, but it's not in bags, paper bags going into an Italian restaurant? You notice I said Italian restaurant, but want your thoughts.
I just think you ought to go with Neil and let him buy, and then you don't have to deal with it.
He's a nice guy. Well, you know, it's
That's
true.
been
I mean,
my
you say we
strategy all
always
along.
compete with what we think everyone else has, right? And the one thing I've realized in studying you and what you've been doing and building and helping people to achieve is that we're all keeping up with the Joneses, yet we're all the Joneses, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And the problem is you used to have to like look out your window or walk out in the street to see the Joneses. Now we carry them around in our pocket and in our hand on Instagram. And we get to see their fake lives because that's not their life. It's their highlight reel of the way they wish their life was. And they rub your nose in that and you think you want to keep up with that. And then all of a sudden you've got a mess on your hands. So yeah. But in terms of paying for something at a restaurant, we just use a debit card. You just have to have the money in the account. All
right, all right. No, you advanced. I didn't think you liked any type of plastic, even if it was healthy plastic. But you do, right? You do.
Oh, I use debit cards everywhere.
Excellent. Finally, I did want to get your thoughts on what's going on in Washington right now. Unlike us, there are limits that we have, for example, on our credit lines. And Washington is all about increasing that credit line, right? And we've done so dozens of times over the last many years. And we're going to do it again. I don't know the timing of this, but we'll do it again. How do you feel about all that?
Well, it's distressing because, again, money problems in our personal lives or in Washington are not really the problem. They're the symptom of something else that's going on in our lives. And in the case of Washington, the spending and the debt ceiling being continually raised and trillions upon trillions upon trillions of debt just continuing to pile in there. It's not really the debt that's the problem. It's the indication that Washington truly thinks that they can buy our love. They truly think that they can't say no to anyone in the public. They don't have any backbone to do the statesman-like thing and stop this ridiculous spending, or at least rein it in. None of them seem to have the political capital or backbone to do it of character. Instead, they just continue to buy our votes like good old politicians do.
Yeah, and they keep feeding the beast, and it's beastly. Dave Ramsey, always good seeing you. Dave has a big heart.
You too, my friend.
A little cheap, but Dave has a very big heart. But he's done very well espousing and sticking to that. Maybe we should all consider doing the same.